Hi, this is Devin Lockett at BiomedRx. If this shirt doesn't trigger my chroma key, I think this video is going to be the first video that I do a crossed post. In other words, a version of this video is going to be here on my Devin Lockett page, and a version of it is going to be here on my BiomedRx TV page. I'm trying to get the people from both accounts to subscribe to the other. I would also like you to consider signing up for BiomedRx TV or Devin Lockett on Patreon. We have Patreon for Devin Lockett and BiomedRx TV. Those videos are going to be showing a lot of things that I don't show in these videos. In fact, most of what you see on the YouTube channel are going to be abbreviated versions of the videos that you will find in the paid section or the patron section of our Patreon account. So I hope you enjoy this video. This is an introduction to brain training, and that's pretty much all I have to say. I hope you enjoy it. Thank you. Neurofeedback therapy, also known as EEG biofeedback, is an electronic method of restoring the brain to its natural balance. The process of neurofeedback is fairly simple. We use electroencephalograph technology to measure your brain waves. At this time, you are either watching a movie or playing a video game. When we detect undesirable brainwave activity, and I'm going to explain what that means later, the activity is discouraged by making the movie blurry or making the screen blurry or taking away from the clarity of what you're looking at. It kind of works on the same principle as if you were reading in a room and someone were to come in and turn the light on and off. Your pupils would dilate and constrict automatically. You don't tell your eyes to adjust to light changes. Your brain is directly connected to the eyes, and that's pretty much the way it happens. Now, when you're in neurofeedback, the same principle applies, except what is responding to the changes in the screen in the movie that you're watching are the pyramidal neurons that are directly beneath the locations where the EEG electrodes are placed on your scalp. In this way, we can gently encourage the brain to work more efficiently, to conduct the same thoughts and the same mental activity with less energy attached. But I'm getting ahead of myself. These neuroscientific terms are going to have to be introduced a little at a time as we go on. In order to view the full, unedited version of this and all of our training videos, you would have to become a patron on our Patreon page at patreon.com/BiomedRx TV. A link will be provided in the description below. Before we get too deeply into neurofeedback, I want to discuss a little bit about my background. Those of you who know me know that in addition to being a filmmaker, I also have a background in biomedical engineering. I started off in the United States Air Force years ago in biomedical equipment maintenance technology, and I started this company, BiomedRx. BiomedRx has provided healthcare technology management services to healthcare providers as well as medical equipment manufacturers in the United States and over 30 countries outside of the United States. And we've been around since 1996. I've been teaching biomedical equipment maintenance in the United States as well as in over 30 countries in the Caribbean and Latin America. I've been teaching in English as well as in Spanish. Now, in the process of doing all of this teaching, I've learned that I have an ability to explain complex technical concepts in simplistic terms in various languages. And I'm going to try to do that here with neuroscience. Now, I know that I'm going to be viewed by some neuroscience professionals, and I do appreciate constructive feedback. I am a student. I'm constantly learning myself, and I'm constantly honoring the work that's been put before me by the doctors Othmer at the EEG Institute, as well as the college training that I'm finding in neuroscience. Neuroscience is an industry that is constantly growing. We are constantly learning more and more about the brain every day. So some of the things that I put in my videos are going to be outdated very quickly, and some of the information is going to be altered or just a little bit out of date, I guess you could say, as time goes on. You're going to have to forgive me for that. But once again, if you want to view the full version of these videos, please become a patron on our Patreon page. That is patreon.com/BiomedRx TV or patreon.com/Devin Lockett. Now, neurofeedback basically means biofeedback for the brain. It is a process of training away dysregulation in the neocortex. Dysregulation occurs whenever we have intense emotion or boredom, which is basically ADHD, or shock, or trauma, or arguments. The accumulation of this dysregulation in the neocortex, the overaccumulation of this dysregulation is called PTSD, right? This manifests in PTSD. This dysregulation tends to manifest itself in certain parts, certain areas of the neocortex over and over again in individuals, depending on the lifestyle that those individuals have lived. Most of us experience a lot of emotion in the parietal lobe, in the occipital lobe of the neocortex, and a lot of the troops that go overseas and fight and war, they're exposed to combat. They accumulate a lot of dysregulation here in the frontal lobe as a result of having spent a long time in a state of hypervigilance, keeping one eye open or always looking over your shoulder, or basically sleeping with one eye open. This takes a toll on the brain, okay? We've had a lot of success working with veterans here at the BiomedRx Health Center in addressing post-traumatic stress disorder with the therapies that I'm about to discuss. Although neurofeedback does provide a feedback loop or a certain way to monitor the brainwave activity during the treatment, it is not a diagnostic treatment. It is a therapeutic treatment. That's a very important distinction. If you would like to get a snapshot of whatever dysregulatory patterns you may have, you may want to consult with a doctor about getting a PET scan, or there are a number of imaging, QEEG. There are a number of different type of diagnostic tools that you can use. What we're doing here with neurofeedback is therapeutic. I'm going to try to incorporate my biomedical engineering background and see if we can make some analogies between medical equipment categories and neurofeedback equipment. It's not similar to laboratory, not similar to radiography equipment. It would be similar to fluoroscopy because we are monitoring what's going on in the brain in real time, but it's akin to one part of what we're monitoring during a lie detector test. But what we are using is EEG, or electroencephalograph technology. Okay, so let's get clear on some basic terminology. When we talk about training and therapy, brain training versus brain therapy, neurofeedback training versus neurofeedback therapy, we're basically talking about the same thing. We're just talking about the purposes for which you're doing it, right? If you are coming to the BiomedRx Health Center, for example, suffering from anxiety, PTSD, autism, ADD, ADHD, and stress, depression, any number of conditions that we treat people for, then the therapy that we're going through, the customized protocol that I'm going to put together for you, is going to be therapy. It's going to be neurofeedback therapy, or it's going to be brain training therapy, brain therapy. If you are coming to me as a peak performer, we have a lot of clients that are coming to improve their golf game, or to make them better at being an executive, or a better actor, or a better film director, or a better athlete. We have a lot of athletes that come to us for peak performance. Then that is considered training. Okay, we have a unique protocol here at the BiomedRx Health Center that you're not going to find anywhere else. We incorporate the devices manufactured by Mind Alive Incorporated. I'm going to put the URL here, Mind Alive Incorporated. It's www.mindalive.com. I highly recommend you visit Mind Alive and listen to Mr. Dave Seaver, the videos that he has online on his website, as well as on YouTube, describing the wonderful devices manufactured by Mind Alive. Here I have in my possession the Mind Alive David Delight Pro, which is a brain training device. I'm going to show you the basic components of it. It involves audio-visual entrainment, AVE, right? And AVE incorporates the use of goggles, as you can see, and headphones. Through the headphones, you will hear isochronic tones and binaural beats, and the sounds that are designed to enhance certain brain wave states in the brain, as well as seeing flashes of light in different colors, LED light, okay? That works pretty much like chromotherapy. Different frequencies for the left field of vision as for the right field of vision, which are designed to entrain the left and right hemispheres of the brain, okay, into certain brain states. The most significant part of the David, I believe, and the other Mind Alive products, I believe, is the CES, or Cranial Electrotherapy Stimulation. With CES, we place these clips on your earlobes, okay? We deliver a very mild calibrated pulse of electricity, of changing, varying polarity, okay? And this pulse stimulates the brain, the various parts of the brain, to produce your endorphins in perfect balance. Epinephrine, norepinephrine, and most importantly, serotonin. Serotonin has a lot to do with self-esteem. Serotonin is a very, very important endorphin. And this device is very, very effective at increasing the effectiveness of neurofeedback. I would say that the combination of CES, AVE, and neurofeedback is much greater than the sum of the parts, the sum of their parts, the sum of its parts. I don't really know how to say that, but it's very effective to do in combination. That's the most important thing you should draw from this. Okay, with neurofeedback, we are using the primary instrument we're using is a neuroamp. This is an EEG amplifier, an electroencephalograph amplifier. We are using channel 1 and channel 2. It is a 2-channel amplifier. When we're using single channel amplifier, we're only using this half of the amp plus the ground, and we're only using 2 probes, okay? And we can do a lot of very effective training with single and double, okay, with both 1-channel and 2-channel. So when we're doing 2-channel, we are usually synchronizing the left and right hemispheres of the brain with each other, which brings me to another subject. With neurofeedback, we are, oh, and by the way, of course, you know the probes are plug into here, okay, the electrodes, right, plug into here, and then on the other end, they're connected to the scalp, okay. We have 3 different disciplines that we use for neurofeedback. One is infra-low, where the reward frequency is very, very low, 0.01 or 0.001 hertz. Okay, and this is very effective at getting rid of dysregulation in the neocortex. It's very effective at addressing autism, ADD, ADHD, anxiety, stress, depression, post-traumatic stress disorder, addiction, and a lot of other conditions, helping people to stop smoking or lose weight. It is very good for for regulating the dysregulation in the neocortex. We also use alpha theta neurofeedback. Alpha theta uses two reward frequencies, one being alpha in the 10 hertz zone and the other being theta around 7 hertz. While being in the alpha and theta frequency zones at the same time, you are able to take things that are in the subconscious mind, repressed memories, repressed emotions, and bring them into the conscious mind gently. The alpha theta state is the desired state for hypnotherapy. Most hypnotherapists, what they're trying to do is put you into the alpha theta state. But the act of hypnotherapy is a little bit stressful because the hypnotherapist is deliberately overloading the subconscious with, overloading the conscious mind with message units so that the person goes into fight or flight mode and the critical faculty is relaxed, giving the hypnotherapist access to the subconscious mind. With alpha theta neurofeedback, we don't have to put the client under so much stress. We can access the alpha theta state very gently by use of neurofeedback therapy. And we can combine alpha theta neurofeedback with self-hypnosis. We have a huge library, over 3,000 titles of self-hypnosis that we use in combination with alpha theta to help our clients. And we also have synchrony. Synchrony is where we use the entire spectrum of frequencies to train the left and right hemisphere of the brain to work in synchrony with each other. I was illustrating your left and your right. To work in synchrony with each other. And with synchrony, we can train in the alpha and the theta zone and the beta zone, the high beta, the gamma zone. Most people choose gamma. I choose gamma. And we can train from 0 up until 40 and even beyond 40 hertz. So those are the three protocols that we use within neurofeedback, plus brain training that we use with the Mind Alive devices. I highly recommend visiting www.mindalive.com and www.eeginfo.com and learning a little bit more about the therapies that are produced by both the Othmers at the EEG Institute and by my friend Dave Seaver up in Canada at Mind Alive. One more subject I'd like to touch on before I end this video is the anatomy of the neocortex, the anatomy of the brain, or at least the outer part of the brain. We are dealing with three primary locations. One is the frontal lobe, okay, right here. The frontal lobe is associated mostly with executive control and inhibitory control. The parietal lobe is right here at the top of the back of the head. That area is mostly associated, we train that area when we're dealing with emotional control and physical tension, emotional and physical tension. And then right here in the back, we have the primary visual cortex and the occipital lobe, okay? The occipital lobe, of course, is in control of what you see, okay? And it also has to do with a little bit of emotional affect as well. We also have the temporal lobe, okay? Temporal lobe also has a lot to do with emotions. And a lot of times we train the temporal lobe, like on the right-hand side especially. T4, P4 is a very good pair, a good location for helping to loosen people up emotionally. We're going to get into this more in future videos, but I just wanted to touch on the areas of the brain, the basic anatomy of the brain, and the basics of the frequencies that we use to train the brain in neurofeedback therapy, and also introduce you to the other aspects of brain training that we are employing, such as the Mind Alive David, audiovisual brain entrainment, cranial electrotherapy stimulation, which is extremely important, and hypnotherapy. We also do a bit of hypnotherapy here, belief reformation. We're going to be talking about a lot of this later on in the series. But thank you. I wanted to thank you for joining me on this video, and please subscribe to our Patreon, become a patron on our Patreon channel, patreon.com/BiomedRx TV or patreon.com/Devin Lockett TV. And if you are a member, if you are subscribed to Devin Lockett, please now subscribe to BiomedRx TV. And if you are subscribed to BiomedRx TV, please subscribe to Devin Lockett. And if you are not subscribed to either, please subscribe to both. Thank you very much. I'll see you in the next video.